Nityanandam. In this video, I'm going to share how I was cured of back injuries due from car accidents and I overcame the back pain. Before I met Swamiji, His Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda, I had encountered two car accidents. Basically, when I was either driving and was hit from behind, or I was in a taxi cab in Manhattan and I was also hit from behind. And what had happened was, especially the first car accident, it totally changed my life in the sense I couldn't do what I used to do because of this back injury. Although it just seemed like a fender bender at the time, my muscles had tightened up, there was a lot of pain, and it was literally ruling how I was living day to day. I used to go to dance class every day in New York City, um, and I couldn't do that anymore because of this injury. And I hadn't really no way to express to people how I was feeling, how this injury was affecting me. So I was going into a kind of a depression. And it was really, really bothering me. It got to the point where, like, even just going out with my friends and sitting at a restaurant would hurt my back. Doing any normal activity would literally hurt my back. And it was a pain that would come and it was like constant, and I didn't know what would stop it or what would make it, um, better. It was just like, and it made me feel bad about myself. Just straight injury that leads to depression, the 101. And then I had met, I got introduced to Swamiji's book called Guaranteed Solutions. This is one of the first books by Swamiji, and it's very near and dear to my heart because I learned so much from it, and I actually had so many clicks and understandings about myself. And there's many techniques in this book. Now, Swamiji has, you know, upgraded his science and what he teaches, but there are some core concepts and understandings about the mind and the seven chakras that you can get from this book. I recommend it to anyone. In fact, I'll put a link in this video so you can get a free download for this book. But in this book, one of the topics that is discussed is pain, how to deal with pain. What is pain? And this was something like happening in my life at that moment where I was dealing with this back pain. And Swamiji has a very simple and powerful technique where basically you go into a space where you can rest, lie down on your back where you're not distracted by anything, close your eyes, and just look at where, don't even call it pain to start off with. Just something is happening to some part of you. And put your attention and energy on that part and look at the source of the pain. So very nicely, he guides you through it in the book, in this technique. And I said, okay, let me just try this. I mean, what else would I have to lose? And then I tried it, and literally the pain went away. Like, I was so shocked that such a simple technique actually helped me in such a big way. And this is, after I was suffering from all these things I described earlier in the video. Okay, so then over time, the back pain got better, and I was, coming out of it. Then one day this was the first car accident. Then one day I was in a taxi cab. I don't know where I was going in Manhattan, but I cab got hit from, I was consulting somewhere in upstate New York, and I got hit behind, and the cab got hit. And I thought, oh God, it's going to happen again. I just tightened up, and I could just feel the same area where that pain was before. It was starting to feel like that again, just the tight knot and kind of like the spasm type feeling. I was like, oh God, it's happening again. At that time, my mother, she had convinced me to attend Swamiji's 4-day meditation workshop called the Nityananda Spurna program. NSP, it was called at the time. And it was taking place in Orlando, Florida. So I decided, okay, let me try it out. Not to deal with this pain or anything, but just as like she wanted me to take it. I described in my first video. And I said, this is something, already I'm experiencing some benefits through his book, Guaranteed Solutions. Maybe there's something I can learn from this workshop. It sounded interesting. So I went there, and then he He gives you the intellectual understanding through the discourses. He puts you through some, meditations and processes and writing exercises. The food was wonderful. The people were so um, generous and nice and caring. And during one of the processes, I actually don't remember which process it was, but the experience I had was I felt something happening at the base of my spine. I didn't know what it was. I was not well versed in any of the terminology um, in spirituality or in Hinduism, but I felt something at the base of my spine. Now I know it has to do with the Muladhara chakra, I know it has to do with Kundalini energy, and I felt great after the program. But then only a few days later, a few weeks later, I understood the pain that happened from the second car accident was just literally gone. Like, just gone. Whatever I suffered in the first car accident wasn't even an issue anymore because Swamiji, through that process in the NSP program, the pain disappeared. And along with disappeared with it was all the depression and negative thoughts and wrong understandings about life because of that one accident. So I'm eternally grateful for that experience because one, it helped me at a time in my life where I was really suffering. But two, it brought me to spirituality. It brought me to understand that there is something so significant, so useful in spirituality, in Hinduism, in the teachings of yoga and meditation. And I directly benefited from it, and I was just sort of playing with it. I wasn't really trying, and I benefited so greatly. And I knew there was something so right about Swamiji. Like everything he said hit at me. Everything he said transformed me. And it was such a beautiful start to my journey with Swamiji. And I'm eternally grateful for how he cured me of that back pain and that back injury. And then fast forward a few years later, I was in another car accident in Los Angeles this time. The same situation, a car hit us from behind. The interesting thing that happened that time was I could see the same muscles where the previous accidents had done damage. I could see them starting to tighten up, and I just decided, no, this is not the same thing. This is not going to happen the same way. Inside I decided, and it didn't. So more than just the healing that happened to me in 2007, the power of the decision that I won't be affected by what's happening around me, that I can have a stronger will than what I was experiencing at that moment and change my future, happened to me in this car accident in 2010. So that's the beauty of learning from a master like Swamiji. Is like he gives you the miracles, but he gives you the understanding so that you can make miracles happen in your life. So this is just one more of many examples in my life of how I've been transformed and benefited by Swamiji, and I hope you would like to learn more about it. If any questions, please message me, and definitely check out the links I share with you in this video description. So I really thank you for your time and look forward to the next video, and thank you so much for listening. Nityanandam.